Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Voices from the Mausoleum, and welcome to another episode of Found Footage Fridays, a series where we talk about found footage on a Friday. And I'm back with my co-host, Mike Serial.
Hey everyone, happy Found Footage Fridays, and hope you're having a great Friday. Hope it's even better now that you're listening to us.
Spooky season is upon us, ladies, gents, and in-betweens. I think that this was the perfect first Found Footage Friday release for October.
I agree. Definitely agree.
Was like, it's so funny. So we get screeners for a kind of like all kinds of things all over the place, but Shudder ones in particular, I've been getting for a really long time. But I don't usually care because I'm mad at Shudder and I'm not over it. But when we got the announcement that there was going to be a new VHS, I was like, we better get a freaking screener. So it got to be like the week before release, and I was like, where's our screener? And I emailed them, and they were so nice, and they sent me one. So they were like, oh, yeah, we just haven't sent them out yet because it's like by a specific time. So we get to talk about the brand new Halloween-themed found footage movie, VHS Halloween. Yay, indeed. Like, I am obsessed with this franchise. Other than Viral, I just pretend that one doesn't exist. But the rest of them, really, really great film, a really, really great series of films. So these are always so crazy to go over, right? Because there's like a million movies in one kind of. So I guess we'll kind of start with Chaotic. Probably you've met us, or at least me. Kind of an overview of, spoiler-free thoughts on VHS Halloween.
Yeah, we can definitely do that. First, viewers, I will just let you know again. So this is a Halloween themed VHS. So everything takes place on Halloween. It's a fun segment. Pretty much think of this as your found footage version of Trick or Treat.
Yeah.
That's the best way that I can put it together.
All the different, I like that.
We do have a few segments, and I just want to give you guys the names and the directors who did each segment. So the overall wraparound story was called Diet Phantasma by Brian M. Ferguson.
Yeah.
The first segment was Coochie Coochie Coo by Anna Zlakovic.
I didn't know that was the name.
Yes, that is the name.
Go ahead.
And then we had, and again, guys, I'm probably going to butcher names and stuff.
Yeah,
I apologize. But Ut Supra Sic Infra by Paco Plaza. You guys might know him as the director behind the Wreck franchise. We had Fun Size by Casper Kelly. Kid Print by Alex Ross Perry. And Home Haunt by Michelle Pitt Norman and R.H. Norman. So spoiler-free thoughts. I'll go first on this one. I adored this movie.
Yeah.
I thought it was such a fun time. It had the spirit of Halloween at heart. It had the spirit of indie horror, particularly indie found footage. Now, what I will say, what I do love is also something that we have to talk about when we're talking about in-world camera, particularly to found footage. It is becoming less found footage, less feeling real. The realism is, we're in 2025. Found footage has been around for decades at this point.
Yeah.
The realism is out the window, guys.
You're right.
We'll get into a particular segment that really pushes that. But at the end of the day, give me a fun time, and I do not care that it's real or not. At this point, like I said, the realism escaped my found footage brain. I just want good, entertaining stories. I want something unique, creative, and VHS Halloween delivered on all fronts. So, what are your spoiler-free thoughts?
Yeah, I guess the new term is probably just POV horror, right? Versus like actually found footage. Man, this is a mixed bag too of like so many different takes. Everything that Like, one of the reasons I always defend Season of the Witch is because I feel like at its core, Season of the Witch is absolutely all about what Halloween is about nowadays. And this takes all of these things, you know, bratty kids, bad things happening, stealing candy. Like, it takes all of these Halloween things and puts them in all these different takes in these films. And they are there's one in particular that I did not specifically care for, and I will complain about that when we get to spoilers. But ultimately, this was an insanely strong addition to the franchise. This has, in my opinion, the best overlap story. And everybody knows I am not a massive fan of comedy horror, things that are meant to be this. The segments in this that are funny are the best type of balance between horror and comedy, because there were parts of this that had me in stitches. I was losing my mind. I was laughing. So I'll ultimately, for as many stories as that's in this, there's really only one that I felt was kind of like not maybe for me, not even really that it was weak. It just wasn't for me. But they are really kicking ass with these. Beyond is my favorite. I love the Beyond one. And then I love Before. The 80s one, there were parts of it I really loved, parts of it I was kind of like, meh. But they are really embracing this idea of a theme. And get Halloween releasing the first week of October, like, I mean, sign me up, right? So this was a very, very fun take on consumerism, Halloween, the dangers of going out on Halloween. And ultimately, I just had a freaking blast with this. I think I messaged you like right after I finished it, and I was like, that was a ton of fun. Like, I
Ton
was
of
laughing
fun.
all the way through it pretty much for the most part. There's one that's not funny that I feel like is very serious, but for the most part, a lot of them had a sense of humor.
Yeah.
And the indie filmmakers that did the ones I'm thinking of in particular in my head, they really nailed the comedy horror like ratio really, really well. I guess there's two serious ones, but either way, very fun.
And I will say, after I was done watching this, my first thought was, this is an instant Halloween classic movie.
Revisit. Yep, every year.
Because
I
it's
thought the
just like,
same thing.
there's always those movies, like, we're horror fans, we watch horror year round, but there's
Yep.
certain movies that just hit better in October, and it's
Yep.
usually movies that either are Halloween focused
Yeah.
or autumn focused,
Yeah.
because it just feels better in
It
October,
does.
and
Yeah.
is this is 100% going to be a staple next to Hocus Pocus,
I agree.
Halloween Town for me.
I
Um,
agree.
Season of the Witch, Cobweb was another new one for me that I loved. Oh no.
The only
Um,
thing Halloween and Cobweb is the pumpkins in the yard. Anyway, go ahead.
but this movie particularly is, I'm
Yeah.
gonna watch it every year.
And I think this is not going to be divisive. I think when this comes out, people are going to literally, pun intended, eat this up. They are
Yeah.
going to eat this one up because it really takes, especially people who love Halloween, who have like who especially like people in our age range. It's like we had those Halloweens. Halloween is very different now on the trick-or-treating front. Like, nobody does it anymore. You have to like track down places to go. It's very different.
Yeah.
Whereas we could go anywhere when I was a kid and everybody participated. So anyway, just kind of, it was kind of nostalgic in that way too. And I could go on and on. I do want to get to the spoilers too, because I feel like I have so much I want to say and laugh about, but I don't want to give anything away. So what would you rate this as a whole?
As a whole, I am going to rate this, and this is going to be this is still, for me, a strong number. This is going to be to quote our favorite person, Tasha, this is a solid 7.
I'm gonna be dead and a ghost one day, and the number 7 is still going to haunt me. I'm pretty convinced. I'm gonna kick it up a notch, and I'm gonna actually give it an 8. I really loved this one. I was overwhelmed with how good it felt to watch it, if that makes sense. Like, it really was. We just cut, y'all. We watch so much crap. Like, there's just so, like, I'm so tired of watching things and being like, oh God, I can't sit through this. Or like, it's very hard. Like, it's just hard to find really good stuff. So to find something that is very well done, there's that one bigger director, but otherwise it's very indie again. This many unique takes on Halloween tropes and things about Halloween. And I mean, I felt so good after I watched this. I was laughing. I had such a great time with it. And I feel like it came out the perfect year because last year I didn't feel like I got to enjoy my Halloween very much last year. And we basically started celebrating Halloween the 1st of September. And it's just been like nonstop. It's been so great. And so this was like, like going into getting ready for like October 1st. It's just so fun. I really loved this one. So I would give this one an 8.
Nice.
I don't know what I gave the other ones. I never remember. Sometimes my ratings change based on my mood.
Yeah, I definitely could agree with that. That's constant for me too.
Yeah. Okay, I'll put up spoilers.
Spoilers.
Okay. Overlap.
Yes. Overlap. So, Diet Phantasma.
Diet Phantasma is the best, I feel, overlapping segment of any VHS movie that has come out. Like, this was hysterical. Not like, it's kind of like messed up. But so you get this guy who's like, they're trying to get people to taste their soda, but their soda has like, I don't know, like an otherworldly being in it or something, some kind of specimen. And every time somebody drinks it, they die like a horrible death, like horrible. This one guy, the can gets like beats into his face until it's like part of him, and it's insane. But this particular segment had me laughing because the doctor that's kind of over it all is a drama queen. Like, he's so over everything because he's like, this isn't working. And so they have this part where this little boy comes in, probably like my youngest son's age. He comes in and he has a sip, and you're like, how am I going to feel about it being a small kid like this? Because it's adults at this point. Anyway, so he takes a sip and he's like, oh, this is really good. In this like cute little kid voice. And the guy's like, did y'all put any of the specimen in there? Like, wait. She was like, well, yeah, but we dialed it back because he's super small. And he was like, add more or whatever. So the little kid asked for a second one. They bring him a second one. The second he takes a sip, on the other side of the screen just goes, dying laughing. That part was so funny to me.
So something that myself and some of my friends who got to see this at Fantastic Fest, so I thankfully had people to talk to about it too.
Oh, yeah.
Something that they pointed out, I saw it happening, but I don't think it registered. And I wonder if it registered with you or not. It's funny because you brought up this particular part of this particular segment. But this entire installment, so all of VHS Halloween, other than it being Halloween themed, did you also realize that the theme was kind of F them kids?
I hadn't really thought about it, but that's true.
Kids, spoilers, kids are not safe in this movie.
Well, and the age range is pretty wide too, because you're not just getting teenagers, you're getting like this. I mean, I'm telling you, this little kid that blew up was like 6 or 7 years, or maybe 7 or 8 years old. He's little. But the fact that I, as a mother of someone who is that same age, could find that funny, that's good writing, because normally that kind of stuff would bother me. But it's the way the doctor is so checked out. He's like, these motherfuckers. He's so frustrated.
He's just like,
he's just like, oh. And there's like that part where he's like laid out and she's like, they're ready, doctor. And he's like, it's so exhausting for him to watch people explode and get eaten by aluminum cans.
And then it's, for me, so obviously it's a wraparound, but the wraparound doesn't even finish when the movie's over. It goes into the credits.
Post-credit, or sort of mid-credits.
Yeah, mid-credits scene, and that's what really sold the entire thing for me.
That was so good.
It was a very 90s cheesy soda pop commercial.
It was great.
And just like you said, it was so outlandish because they're literally just like, there's a made with real poltergeist juice.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
they feed into the cheese. It's so good. They're like, There's that part where he's like, the kid's like, oh, it smells bad. And he's like, I told you to add this pumpkin spice. I was dying. And I watched this at work, but I was like dying laughing. And my coworker on there, so I'm like, what are you laughing at? I was like, I promise if I tell it to you, you are not going to think it's funny. It's not something that I could just share at work and you'd be like, oh, you're right. That's hilarious. Like, you're not going to think it's funny, but just trust me, it is. Okay. So let's go into really quick. We'll do the ranking at the end. We'll do the ranking at the end. All right. So the
next segment is Coochie Coochie Coo by Anna Zlokovic. So I will start with this one because this was such a fun time. This was probably and again, it will depend on how you view things, because as someone who isn't a parent, I think if I was a parent, I think which segment I found to be the scariest would differ than not being a parent.
Okay.
So for me, the scariest one was Coochie Coochie Coo. I thought that it had good scare, like, it's not scary, like, oh, it had good jump scares, good creepy moments. The tension building was great for me. This is basically two older teens on their way, like, almost college. I think they're just graduated high school.
They're just graduating, yeah.
And they're doing like their last Halloween, and they're being menaces, and then all of a sudden they find a house that they've never seen before. They're told about an urban legend, and it turns out this house is home to the urban legend. And it was just, for me, a really good time. It was gross. It was creepy. I thought the acting was great amongst the two main leads. I know there is a scene in it that maybe Angel will bring up because she talked to me about it and compared it to another movie that I love. And now I have to work on if I have to dissect if I have mommy issues or not. And I thought it was the funniest thing in the world. So I will kick it to you, Angel.
Yeah, I'm over monster women that are breastfeeding grown adults. I'm over it. This is like the third movie we've seen this in. I was bitching about it, and I told Mike, I was like, I gotta wonder if there's a correlation between the people who love these movies and whether or not they have mommy issues. Because I did not care for Barbarian. I thought it was like, I feel like it got way overhyped, and that concept just doesn't do anything for me. I don't even know that I think it's gross. I think it's just boring. Like, I love the idea though of going into, like, that's very VHS one, where they go into the haunted house at the end of that one, and it's like shit just goes crazy. But that ends up being obviously a different story. But I love the idea, because that one's also at Halloween, the end of that one. And so I love this idea of these teenagers being a menace, and they menace the wrong house is what happens. And I do love the concept, but I'm just over that design. I'm just over it. Like, I'm like tall, naked lady with, like, I'm just kind of over it. So that one, I was like,
what I will say is it felt, even though it's slightly different, but then the funny thing is the correlation between what this one character represents and this mommy character. I got a lot of similarities and a similar aesthetic from the VHS Beyond Stork segment.
No, I will not stand for this blasphemy. Stork is genius.
So you don't think similarly there was like a visual aesthetic vibe that was similar?
The stork was like a mutated bird. This was
but I'm talking about like the camera work, like the lighting.
Yes,
like,
yes.
I thought they were
it's like really chaotic, and it's jerking, and
the darkness. Okay. Like, I thought they looked very similar. Obviously, like the story itself and the character design different.
That's one of my favorites. Yeah,
but I felt like
what you're saying.
I was watching a very similar stylized movie.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah. Only in that regard. Because Stork is amazing. That's one of my favorites.
So
Next
is
is
Coochie Coo, everybody.
next. What's the
Don't
next
listen to
one?
Angel. The next one was, let me
Oh,
make sure I got it right.
the
It
telephone
was
one.
the Spanish one, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Ut Supra Sic Infra by Paco Plaza.
I loved this one. You didn't like this? Okay, hold on. I'll
Let
go
us
first
know
this time.
why.
I'll go first this time. Okay, so I really liked this one because I didn't like it at first. I was like, okay, like would they really do this? Would they really take someone to the scene where they think they like kill people? I'm like, what's going on? So when he gets there and he starts like freaking out, I'm like, well, where's this gonna go from here? Because like, anyway, so it took me a minute to like it. But then we start seeing the footage from when he went there with his friends, I think. I guess they were like a little group of friends. And I was like, the telephone in the room, do you know what it gave me like the vibes of?
What?
As above, so below.
Okay.
Because there's a phone scene, and as above, so below. It's underground, no reason for the phone to work whatsoever. So this is on a phone in the middle of the room, or on a phone on the table in the middle of the room. And I'm like, okay, what's this guy? So the main guy, Enric, is that how you say his name? Enric? Something like that. He picks up the phone and he starts like convulsing. And the friends are like, they've heard this legend about this woman. And they're like, oh my God, this is creepy. And the phone wasn't here when I was here last time. Don't answer it. Y'all, if your friends tell you not to do something in a place that they've already been and that wasn't there before, just maybe consider listening to them. So he picks up the phone and he starts convulsing. I thought he was going to start laughing, like it was a joke, like he was playing around. Then he like didn't. And I was like, what is going on? But then it happens when he goes back. And I think that's when it really got me, when he was there the second time and they picked up the phone and he started like vomiting eyeballs. I was like, okay, this is impressive. I love this. Of course, it makes sense now that I know the director. But anyway, and I loved where it went from there. I thought it was really cool and fun and a little bit different. And I feel like it's a little bit shorter than some of the other ones. But it was, in general, the body horror in this was so good. And I just thought I didn't expect them to go to the ceiling and then him walk out the door on the other side. That was crazy. I thought that was cool.
In a disturbing way, this was very visually appealing.
Yes, I agree.
But I felt just a little lost in this story, and not in a good way lost. I just was kind of like not really knowing what's happening, and I'm kind of like just waiting for me to figure it out or for it to be over. And then it was over too fast for me.
It was over pretty
and
quick
I
after
felt
that
I was like, I wasn't able to connect to what I think this story was. But it might change on a rewatch.
Yeah, I don't know that you get a definitive answer. I think it's more of just like she tells the story of the woman that used to be there or something. And I thought it was supposed to kind of connect to that, but in general, it can be hard, I think, to probably pull off like a full arc in a short time. You do have to be careful because I think you do run the risk. But I think the reason that I didn't so much care about that is because I thought the acting was great. First of all, I love foreign horror. Anything not made in the States, I'm down for. Like anything outside of that, I love. And like there have been so many films that are in Spanish that have just been so good. The Entity, Terrified, When Evil Lurks, this, like Wreck, of course. Like there's so many that I was just like, oh, this is going to be good. But this was the one where I was like, oh, I can't watch this while I'm working. I'm going to have to actually like, because I have to read what it's saying. And so, anyway, but I didn't so much care because I thought that the body horror in this and the terror and the sounds, it just won me over. So I really, 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 really liked this one.
Yeah. And again, visually loved it. Loved the visuals. Also some great visuals and some funny gags is the next segment, Fun Size.
This one's so stupidly fun. I loved this one. I was like, this is another where you're like, what the hell? Anyway, go ahead.
So, fun size viewers, this is where I was talking about, where we kind of, and not, again, not in a bad way, even though this phrase has like negative connotation to it, but I feel like in the found footage space, which is why I always like to use in-world camera, this is why I feel we've jumped the shark in found footage. But it was a great time. I'm
Oh
not
God.
mad at it. Fun size is, again, a group of older teens, maybe even like young
Young
adults,
adults. Yeah. I would
um,
say young adults.
partying and then decide that they want to trick or treat. And they go to this one house that has candy they've never heard of. It's weird names, and one of them opens it up and it looks like a penis. And he decides to eat it. And it was a little bit gross watching him
That
eat
part
it.
was gross. That was a little much for me personally. Yeah, but yeah.
But then they make a mistake because something that we all know when it comes to Halloween, when the bowl says, please just take one, it's an honor system.
Yeah.
And this is a warning to all people. There's a reason why they tell you to just take one. They did
Yes.
not. They
Oh
took
my God.
more than one. And guess what, viewers? They got sucked into the candy bowl.
When the flying part, that was the best. There's like one guy gets actually sucked in, and then the other is like the thing comes after them and pulls them in. Oh, hilarious. I was dying.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll let you take it away from here because it's a fun time. I had a great
It's
time
super.
with this, but
There's these weird, like, I guess they're supposed to be like candy bar rapper character kind of vibe, but there's these weird like characters, and they're like fun size, and so there's like they take this guy, the guy that ate the, and they put him on this conveyor belt and they chop up parts of his body, and it shows it going through the conveyor belt, and it goes under like caramel and chocolate, and they wrap them, and they're like, so they're trying to find a way out. They're trying to find the keys. They're having to open all his body parts out while they're trying to find the keys that were in his hand. And it's a riot. Like the way that this escalates to the point where like the one girl like actually gets out, but then she turns around and that character's there and she says fun size again. And then I don't even know what she does, but she like oh, and
yeah.
we did need to mention this because I did think this was funny. There's this weird kind of meta thing where two of the characters are dressed up as found footage filmmakers.
Yes.
And they're like, oh, we're found footage team, or found footage film team, and like the people who walk around and film found footage for horror movies. I thought that was a cute little nod to what we were doing here. But and then yeah, go ahead.
I have a question for you because there was something in this segment that you have talked about in other movies that is sometimes like a faux pas for you. And for me, I didn't like it in this segment because I feel like it truly went nowhere. And they had a subplot of a couple getting engaged, but of
Yeah.
course, one half of the couple was gonna break up with them, but they couldn't do it just yet, and blah blah blah. And then it gets to a point, and I guess it was like it made a thing, but I feel like there was no point
No.
to
I do agree
this
with that.
subplot.
I think if this had been a serious take on this kind of idea, I think it actually would have failed. I think the reason that storyline is like kind of like it's stupid, it's like whatever, is because the rest of it was so entertaining. Like
Yeah.
I gotta say, I don't know for sure. I don't know what the filmmaker or writer was thinking when they did this, but there's a part of me that wonders if maybe that nonsense was in there on purpose because they already did a nod to a couple of found footage things. So I was wondering, because that does seem to be like a common thing. Like, y'all, we saw Paranormal Activity. We hate the men. Just forget the stories. Like, leave the romance and stuff like out. I don't need it, And so, in fact, one of the things I loved the most about Puzzle Box was it was about two sisters. Like I love
Yeah.
stuff like that. So anyway, yeah, I did notice that, but I kind of like just was like whatever. And then by the time they got sucked into the candy bowl, I kind of just forgotten. But then there was that this probably was not. I don't know if this was be funny or not. He's like trying to do vowels in the conveyor belt, and
Yes.
she even in about to die, she's like, I'm sorry. I thought that was very funny. And then he dies. And then she says,
Yeah.
I do. And he's like, ah. It was great. I love that part. That was so funny.
Yeah. I was just like, I loved the whole thing. That was the only
Yeah.
part that I was kind of like rolling my eyes. And I'm like, I need to find out what Angel thinks about this because I'm
I
rolling my eyes.
I only was able to ignore it because it wasn't a serious movie. That's the
Yeah.
only reason. Like
And
there's
well, like
movies
you
that
said,
make it super serious.
I think what made this one, because like you said, horror comedy can sometimes, a lot of the time, really not land. And I
Yeah.
think because this knew so much that it was not serious and it leaned
Leaned
into it.
into it.
It did not try to
Totally agree.
pretend to be serious.
This
It
was
said,
fun.
how dumb can we make this and still be good?
And they take it a step further to add a little level of discomfort by having children opening the candies at the end.
At the end,
And
and get sucked into
the candy dish. Like
the
this little kid's like, I took two. Is that bad? And it turns it is like, "Rah." That was hilarious. I love
again,
that part.
another this movie did not care about kids. And I kind of, as someone who thinks everything is fair game in horror for the
Yeah.
most part, I
Yeah.
appreciate this.
I thought you were going to be like, as someone who can't stand kids on Halloween.
So normally I softened. I used to be the person who hated kids for no reason. But my niece and nephew really softened my heart.
Yeah.
Kids aren't the worst.
Well, they are just not the kids that you love. Like the kids I love are not the worst, but the kids I don't love are absolutely the
Well,
worst.
even like I learned because of my niece and nephew, I have gained a lot of patience for even other people's kids. Um, I don't know where that came from, but
I don't have
so
that. And I'm like, I just look at people sometimes and I'm like,
but
but these
like
kids
in
got
in
like
horror, because I know people like, and this is a me thing. If people don't like certain things in horror, they very much have the right to not like it and not want to watch it.
of course.
Absolutely. Like, I love that there's like that site, Does the Dog Die? Because that does really trigger people.
I don't want to watch
Um,
that. Yeah.
and that's perfectly fine. I never took an issue with it, like with animal deaths in movies, kid deaths in movies, because I'm like, it's all fair. It's for me, I know that this is fictional, it's not getting me any type of way.
Yeah.
In this particular movie, though, as much as I appreciate it, I'm like, damn,
They
once in
yeah.
a while, I'm like, oh, I'm glad that they had the nerve to kill this kid in this movie. And in this
Yeah.
one, I'm like, all right, you all know you could hold back a little, right?
Well, and that's probably the perfect segue, right,
Yes.
for the next one
Ooh.
because yeah. What was this
Kid
one called?
Prince. It's called Kid Prince by Alex Ross Perry. Lord
This
have
was Poughkeepsie tapes in short
mercy.
form. This was a lot. This
And
was a lot.
this, viewers, was the film that I said, had I been a parent, maybe this is the more frightening of all the segments. And not just because it does get outlandish and the visuals do start to like become like, okay, they're trying to push the boundary here, but it's not
Yeah.
even that part. It's the buildup that I feel is the most like, holy crap, if I was a parent, I'd probably be devastated with
Yeah,
this segment.
it reminded me a lot of Poughkeepsie tapes. So the story is there's been a lot of kidnappings and kid deaths or in this little, I guess it's like a little small town. So there's this guy that owns a shop and they're doing these pictures that are supposed to be kind of like the ID me pictures where it's like it's an updated picture of your kid in case something happens. because who wouldn't want to do that before going trick or treating? But because there have been so many issues with kids going missing, and then somebody was just taken like in that time frame that we're watching things unfold, they aren't allowing like typical activities. So they have a cop give out candy in like a pavilion somewhere in like a park, I guess, and like nobody wanted to go. So there's only like a handful of kids there. And so the guy recording is the guy who owns the shop where he took all the pictures of the kids. Well, we're already at this point getting glitches of the kid, one of the girls that was there earlier, and she's like bloodied. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, that, I guess it's him, right? So he leaves the event to go back because the girl that went missing is the girl that was just there. So he goes back to get the tape so that it can update and put out her photo. And he finds video footage playing in his whatever that type of store is. I know what it's called. I'm drawing a blank. Of these kids being tortured, essentially.
Yeah.
In front of the thing they take pictures on. And come to find out, it's the person that works with him that's doing it.
Yeah. I did enjoy this segment for the storytelling.
Yeah. It's dark.
It was dark. It was very serious. It did get outlandish because they did go full. I will say they went for it. It was very strong in what they did. I will say, and I won't turn this into a huge thing, but I do have to say it. I have to. It's something that's been on my mind. In 2025, horror in general, but particularly found footage, and with VHS, we don't have a lot of representation of marginalized voices, particularly Black people in horror in this franchise, as well as found footage as a whole. So maybe we be mindful that the only character is the child killer.
That's true.
Now, again, I am a huge advocate for queer people, Black people, other minorities can definitely be villains, and I want to see marginalized voices as villains if we have
there's
other representation.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that rubbed me a little bit the wrong way. I don't think there was any ill intent behind it, but it's one of those moving forward filmmakers. Let's just be a little more mindful. That's my only thing.
Especially because I think in a real world sense, we all know it was the white guy. Which is why it was so easy to buy it, because it was like,
would have made more sense too. Like
I also think it would have made more sense. Yes.
I feel that it would have felt more sinister had it been, because he was also the family man, everything's so great.
He was very Ted Bundy. I totally agree with that. And I think him going back to the store to get the video would have been a great opportunity for them to show him having that girl tied up or something. Like that would have been like,
that's what, and maybe they felt that was too predictable because that's where my mind was going, but I think it still would have delivered.
I think that would have been okay though.
Yeah,
because
I think it would have delivered very strongly with that.
You're still talking about a trusted member. Like people are going to this person, getting him to help them in case something happens, and he's the one doing it. That would have felt very like, ooh, you know. So I get what you're saying. This was a hard one. I think my kind of take is I'm open to whatever. I don't judge films based on whether or not they kill kids or animals. There's certain things I can't watch. Like I refuse to even give the new Pet Sematary a try because I can't. Those things just upset me too much. Like the baseball boy in Dr. Sleep, that was sickening. That was very difficult for me as a mother to watch. They Come at Night. It Comes at Night was another one where a toddler gets shot and the mother screams out. You don't even see it. And I had to go lay on the floor next to my son's crib and just lay there because I was so bothered. So I do have things like that. Older kids do not bother me as much for some reason. But this one was,
see why.
Yeah. It's some of them are rough. But this was rough though, and this felt very Poughkeepsie Tapes to me. Like, granted, it didn't go as far as that did because that's a full-length movie, right? You only got a limited amount of time when you're doing these. But I'd be curious to see if this filmmaker drew from that, because the overall vibe was very Poughkeepsie Tapes, in my opinion. And so I kept thinking that when I was watching it, and it naturally gave me more dread, because the Poughkeepsie Tapes is terrible, like in a good way. Like, it's so well done. It's
no,
very
I definitely
scary,
know what you mean. Yeah.
And disturbing and unsettling. So this was not, I would say, my favorite in terms of entertainment, but I do think that it was well done.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
Yeah, so I don't have a segue for the next one.
I don't either. So, viewers, the last segment is a lighter note. There's
but it goes from
much lighter note. Much lighter. We have Home Haunt by Michelle Pitt Norman and R.H. Norman. Yeah, let you take this one away, because I'm still like,
I freaking love this one. So haunted house things are always make me really, really happy. Like, I love like Houses October Built. LLC is all right, I guess. But I really like that one, and I really like the idea of haunted houses kind of being turned into these different things, right? Like, No End House is my favorite season of Channel Zero. Like, I love stuff like give me a haunted house on Halloween and make it weird. Like, I love it. And so this guy has done this haunted house for years with his son. His son has reached an age where he's of candy bowl eating age, and he's like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. You're lame. I'm done. He calls his dad by his first name, like whole nine. He's like, I'm over this. I'm over you. You suck. I hate you, whatever. So the mother bribes the son to go out with him to look for new items for the haunted house that they do every year. He finds a little book about Halloween, and he's like, oh, it'll be cute. We'll take this for some ideas, and we'll read it as the thing, and blah, blah. Anyway, long story short, he goes to do this. He's being cussed out in the line. Like, this poor guy's just trying to have a fun haunted house, and y'all being super critical. I don't feel like that's very realistic. I think people, when it gets close to Halloween, are there for the cheese. Like, because there are people who don't like to be scared. They want to embrace the Halloween spirit, but they don't want to be scared. They want to just have fun with it. And so he reads this book as part of his like little show, and things go crazy after that. And that's what his son gets, because I feel like it's his son's fault, honestly.
I do too. I really do. And what I loved about this, again, I do think that these are all, for the most part, original thoughts, but they do bear a lot of striking resemblance to other things. And this reminded me of an episode of a TV show that you and I both love dearly.
Oh,
this reminds me of the haunted house episode of Buffy the Vampire
Slayer. The Halloween episode for season 4, right? Where the house is it 4? Yeah.
Yeah.
Anya dresses up like a rabbit. That one?
Yes.
Yeah. Because she's terrified of bunnies. She thinks bunnies
because everything starts turning to life. Everything starts becoming a real entity. The haunted house really turns haunted, and again, it starts going buck wild, and nobody's safe.
People start getting killed. Like, people, like, there's these like ogre monster zombie things, like ripping people apart.
And again, children too. My favorite kill, the little girl that got sucked into that cauldron, and they're just like,
and they got the little crown on the bones.
Yeah, I was just like,
he was like, the son was like, we can't go in that house, because it starts out as like a haunting. So there's like things being thrown around. They go through, there's the little zombie things. Then they go a little further, and there's like a witch's house that they have to go through. And it's very fun, because the guy that's like cussing him out gets killed. And I was like, that's what you get for being a little punk on Halloween. But I thought that this was, oh, my cat scared me. This is one of those things, like, this was a really fun take on a haunted house. And as like kind of messed up as it is, of like everything that goes down, I thought it was hysterical. And then my favorite thing is like when it just cuts to the music, and Shudder represents or presents or whatever. And I was like, what the hell? I was laughing so hard.
Yeah, the ending was so abrupt.
It was very abrupt.
And I'm like, this is how we ended the segment, and this is how we ended the entire movie. Like, we're in the credits, but then again, it shows us the
90s commercial.
Full 90s Diet Phantasma. This was such a fun time. So I am
Loved it.
curious to find out, Angel, if you had to rank these segments, wraparound included.
Yep.
So there's 6 segments in total.
Okay.
It
So,
is again Diet Phantasma,
yep.
Ut Supra Sic Infra. Did I say Coochie Coochie Coo already?
No, that's next though. I
Okay,
got
that
you.
was the second
I
one.
got you. Yep.
Then it is Fun Size, Kid Prince, Home Haunt.
Okay. So my bottom is Coochie. No one's surprised. That's my bottom. I would say my next bottom would be my number 5 would be Kid Prince, probably. Not because it was bad, but just because it was like so dark and serious. My number 4 would probably be. I'm gonna go with Infra, the one that was in Spanish, and then my next one is probably. Oh, this one's hard. Okay, Fun Size, then Haunting, and then Phantasm.
Nice.
I got all of them, right? That's all of them.
Yeah, you got all of them. And you know what's so funny? Not a single one
are in the
we
same
have
place.
the same.
I would expect nothing less from us. Nothing less.
So in 6th place for me, I don't think it's a surprise that it's going to be Ut Supra Sic Infra. And it's not, again, none of these were bad. It's just I didn't vibe with this one as much as I vibed with the others. And again, not calling this one bad at all, but I will say that now 1 through 5 are like very, very close to each other.
That's how I was with my last one. My last one was like my last one.
Yeah.
And then the other ones were like really close.
Yeah, that's where we're at with this one because number 5 for me, and I loved this one.
Okay.
Was Home Haunt.
I loved that one. Yeah.
It was so much fun, but I have a ranking of how I liked them. Number 4 was Fun Size because I think that was a great middle ground for me. It was hilarious, but it was a little off the wall. And then this is the one that shocked me the most of being at number 3. But as I kept thinking of what I liked, I have to put it at number 3 and not number 1 where I thought it was going to be. And that's Diet Phantasma. I loved it. And I think 1 through 3 are kind of interchangeable at this point. For me, Diet Phantasma was so funny, so well done. I think for me too, it loses the edge a little bit because it has an advantage of being a wraparound story, so it gets more time.
Yep.
And I think had these other stories had more time to develop the same way,
they might
would
have
be stronger.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
So number 2 for me, again, it was dark, but the story, especially in a short format, it hit hard and it hit home. Kid Prince. Again, it's the least fun out of this entire.
I feel like every one of them has like one that just like doesn't quite fit the same vibe as the other ones. Anyway,
like it fits the vibe in the sense of the theme.
But it's not like
the vibe. It just
the vibe is not the same. Yeah.
And then for me,
we already know it's your stupid number 1.
Number 1, because this was Halloween for me. This made the whole segment. It embodied what this installment of this franchise was. And it's Coochie Coochie Coo, the most Halloween. It gave me, it's what I'm going to want to constantly watch. I loved it.
See, and on my rewatches, I'm going to be skipping that one.
Give me more monster mommy milk horror. I will gladly take it all.
It's like cheap therapy.
Sure. But it was just so much fun for me. It was creepy. It gave me what I wanted for a Halloween segment. But yeah, and like you said, I expect nothing less that we couldn't even get one in the same spot.
The same damn number. Yeah. All right. Well, we've dragged this one out because there's so many to talk about. So we will leave on that note of Mike and I once again not being able to agree on anything. So, which is fine. VHS Halloween is available on Shudder. It's a blast. It's a great way to jumpstart your October festivities, whether you're a horror fan or not, but you like watching spooky stuff. And this is a bunch to say. There's a lot going on with it, but it's very, very fun. And I really loved it. Mike really loved it. We had a good time. I'll be messaging them again next year if I don't get my screener ahead of time because I need it. Those are the only ones I care about anymore, the VHS ones. But anyway, all right. Well, that's going to wrap up this episode of Found Footage Fridays. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Let us know what found footage movies you're watching this October because a lot of people are doing like first watches and stuff. So I'd love to see what people are up to. So let us know in the comments. We hope you guys have a good rest of your Friday and enjoy your weekend when you're getting to it and have a great week. And Mike and I will see you next week.